I've been fascinated with the sea ever since I was a child. I grew up in a very urban area, so I didn't have much nature, but the only thing I had was the seaside. So I spent my childhood running around the beach, catching crabs and observing all manner of shore life and coastal species.
I always enjoyed the sea and going out with my family, you know, during the summer and even in winter times. It always fascinated me.
The fishing regulations governing our waters might be crafted in distant offices, but the knowledge they rely on starts here, out at sea, with scientific observers. These men and women are the backbone of the EU fisheries data collection. But who are these scientists? How do they work? And how do they contribute to preserving our marine ecosystem?
È mattina presto a Malta. A bordo di questa barca da pesca ci sono 3 ospiti, Kelly, Luca e Frank. I 3 lavorano per Aquatic Resources Malta. Questa unità di ricerca del Dipartimento Pubblico Maltese della Pesca e dell'Acquacoltura ha una missione cruciale: fornire ai responsabili politici dati accurati sulla salute delle acque.
I work with a fantastic team of biologists and field observers, and together we undertake all of the data collection pertaining to the EU obligations. Today we're on an onboard observation, which is one of our routine observation efforts, where we get the opportunity to go out on board with fishermen and take measurements of what they catch, both fish that they intend to land and bycatch and discards.
It's the best part of the job because you basically get to see and work with the fishers themselves, and you get to see the full fishing industry.
Mentre l'equipaggio porta a riva le catture, gli scienziati osservano, analizzano e registrano i dati biologici di base.
This information is very valuable to policymakers and decision makers because we can quantify how much it costs from an ecological standpoint to catch commercially important species. Because for every commercial species you catch, you end up also catching species that are unrelated and that would otherwise not have been targeted by fisheries.
Questi dati, compilati a livello europeo nell'ambito di una raccolta pluriennale di dati sulla pesca, non solo guideranno il lavoro dei responsabili politici sugli stock e sulle risorse ittiche, serviranno anche come base per rafforzare il pilastro socio-economico del settore della pesca.
I really believe in the need of balancing the environmental, the social and the economic pillars when it comes to projecting policies for the sector.
Anche se il settore della pesca rappresenta solo l'1% del PIL di Malta e impiega circa 1000 pescatori, secondo questa ex accademica diventata politica, la pesca è profondamente legata all'identità della nazione. La scienza può svolgere un ruolo cruciale nel preservare questo patrimonio culturale.
I believe that science informs our decision making. So you need data to be able to predict the future. There has been quite a good representative amount of scientists boarding different vessels, both trawlers and also travel netters and longliners, which makes data collection quite representative.
Le osservazioni a bordo sono solo uno dei metodi utilizzati dagli scienziati per studiare l'industria della pesca. Alle 4 del mattino il suono della campana sancisce l'inizio dell'asta del pesce. Gli acquirenti competono per le migliori catture che finiranno sui piatti di tutta l'isola. Frank però è qui per un motivo diverso.
As part of the data collection multi-annual plan, we have a budget from where we can buy the fish. Then fish bought from here, we are going to process them at our laboratories. There are biometric samples, mainly length, weight, sex and maturity.
Questi pesci spada e delfini arrivano negli uffici di Aquatic Resources Malta più o meno alla stessa ora dei colleghi di Frank. Il lavoro può iniziare. I pesci vengono sezionati per studiare i loro parametri biologici. Il primo passo di un processo di raccolta dati completo che alla fine arriverà sui tavoli della Commissione europea.
Our fish stocks are shared with our neighboring countries. So it is very important that our data sets between member states are shared and then aggregated together according to the data calls that we receive from the European Commission and other fora which work with the European Commission. Now, this data then, from these data calls, is used for modeling the stocks, that is the fish stocks that we have around the Maltese Islands. These are then aggregated at the regional level, and then we can determine the management measures at the policy level from the collected data sets.
Jürgen ha un dottorato di ricerca in statistica e matematica. Supervisiona la raccolta dei dati e diversi altri progetti portati avanti dai 35 laboratori della ARM. Il suo interesse per la pesca, però, è guidato anche da una motivazione personale.
In the fisheries sector, we have predominantly small-scale fishers, meaning that these are still traditional fishers and they are still obviously providing our food. So for me, that is something crucial for a country, because if you have someone, a family, who is providing food for the country, that is quite important.
Come in molti altri luoghi del Mediterraneo, i pescatori maltesi devono affrontare diversi problemi: cambiamento climatico, inquinamento, esaurimento delle scorte e concorrenza.
I believe that we have not managed to cater for the diversity and the heterogeneity of fishers, especially the small-scale ones. Most of the time, these fora give a lot of focus to the commercially large fishers, and having an industry in Malta where over 90% of our fishers are of a small-scale nature, I think that we need to have more European fora that actually cater for the small-scale fishing industry.
Un'opinione condivisa dagli scienziati a bordo dei pescherecci che aiutano a promuovere la fiducia tra pescatori e politici.
It is very important that we have a good working relationship with fishermen, and at the end of the day, their interests are our own interests. If the sea isn't doing well, we want to know, because if we can figure out and identify just where things seem to be struggling, we can raise this with policymakers and decision makers so that they are more equipped to take proper course of action in order to try and protect the sea and the interests of the fishermen.
Finché la salute dei nostri oceani rimarrà in pericolo, il lavoro scientifico di Frank, Luca e Kelly sarà essenziale per affrontare il problema e dare forma a una visione condivisa per il futuro del nostro ecosistema marino.